Bardstown Bourbon Company has launched a new expression with French Armagnac house Chateau de Laubade as part of its collaborative series. It's 12 years old, it's cask strength, it's finished in Armagnac casks, and trust me, you're gonna want to hear about this one today on The Mash and Drum. In Western France, the regions of Cognac and Armagnac produce some of the world's most admired grape brandies. Although they share proximity, Cognac against the Atlantic, about an hour and a half from landlocked Armagnac to the south, they produce two very different styles of brandy distinguished by history, grapes, soil, technique, and aging. The major difference between Cognac and Armagnac is the distillation. Now, while Cognac is twice distilled using a pot still, Armagnac undergoes column distillation, though much different from the large modern industrial stills often used to produce neutral spirits like vodka. The column stills used for Armagnac are 15 plates or less. They are not there to strip and transfer raw material into neutral distillate. They cleanse it and give it a high aromatic tone that would still produce a very flavorful distillate before it even goes into the barrel. A column still creates texture differences between Cognac and Armagnac as well. Cognac is almost like the vodka that you store on the kitchen counter, whereas Armagnac texturally is more like the vodka in the freezer, which is thicker and richer on the palate. Also like Cognac, Armagnac is blended and labeled frequently with indications like VSOP, XO, and Reserve to show the minimum age. However, it's more traditional to bottle vintage Armagnac than Cognac. Vintage Armagnac is relatively affordable compared to other aged spirits, and it's a great option if you seek a bottle to commemorate a particular year. Now, in the bourbon world, Cognac is usually a bit more well known because we have some bourbon producers historically that have done some really good things with Cognac casks, including Belle Meade, and also this past release, the Blood Oath Pack 6, which used some Cognac barrels as well. But for those who get to try the more rustic Armagnac, they usually come to find themselves in love with it. Armagnac barrels, given the smaller volume of production, are generally harder to come by for those who want to finish whiskey in them, though this is something you could see on occasion happening, as was the case a few years back with Whistle Pig. Now, Bardstown Bourbon Company is using this unique spirit as well. The new Bardstown Bourbon Company Chateau de Laubade bourbon is sourced 12-year-old Indiana bourbon, which is MGP, that the Kentucky distillery finished in Armagnac barrels for 18 months. These barrels came from Chateau de Laubade, an Armagnac distillery first built in 1870 that's located in the heart of the prestigious Basse Armagnac district. It is known for having 7 aging cellars and a single vineyard of 260 sustainably farmed acres. For Chateau de Laubade, collaborating with Bardstown Bourbon Company was very exciting, as bourbon is in many ways similar to Armagnac, a long heritage, true craftsmanship, a deep notion of terroir, and great human adventures, added Chateau de Laubade Director General Chez Famille Legorge, Dennis Legorge. The science of wood is a prime element for aging the greatest Armagnacs, and Laubade pays meticulous attention in selecting the local Gascony black oak trees for its barrels. So the new Bardstown Bourbon Company Chateau de Laubade is bottled at 118.4 proof. As I mentioned, it's 12 years old, MGP, finished in Armagnac barrels for 18 months. It's available now in select markets for about $130. All right, guys, so I could not wait to get into this bourbon with you and review it today because I do like Armagnac, and I do think that there are some subtleties there that Armagnac really does produce some just amazing flavors when you add it to the sweet flavors of a bourbon. So let's get into the nose and see what we get here. The nose on this thing is ridiculous. It's so, I mean, it's familiar, but it's different. You definitely get that grape note in it from the Armagnac. God, there's an espresso note in here, like a rich espresso. Definitely chocolate. Man, like dark, rich, artisanal honey. So me and my buddy Dustin were sipping on this when we first got it, and he had mentioned a note that he said is actually kind of prevalent in Armagnac, which I never really picked up before, which is fresh fall leaves. And those fall leaves definitely come out of the glass. I mean, it's got this this floral, very, you know, fall season type quality to it. It's really incredible. Yeah, a lot of espresso and dark chocolate still coming out of here. There is some citrus though. There's some like citrus notes as well. But then you definitely get some of that 12-year-old age in there. There's some like sweet tobacco notes mixed with those rich caramels in here. There's like an old dusty oak character as well when you get deep down into the nose. The nose on this is just phenomenal. I could nose this glass all day. I mean, everything seems to come out differently each time you go back to it. The chocolate, the espresso, even raisins. It's pretty incredible. All right, let's go for my first sip. Cheers. Oh man. This is special. This is a special bourbon. So as dark and rich as I described this on the nose, the palate is almost a little bit opposite. It's very citrusy. There's peach. There's like peach and apricots going on. Man, apple cinnamon. Man, yeah, it's very citrusy up front. A lot of sweetness. You do get your vanillas and caramels, but there is just a burst of citrus in the front of the palate. Then as this stuff starts working its way back, man, now those dark flavors from the nose are coming in. The espresso, the chocolate, the little bit of tobacco, the oak. Man. Yeah, it's, you know what's getting me? It's this combination of light and dark flavors. The bright citrus notes, the fresh fall leaves, they're still there. The honey, the apple, the cinnamon, but then as this stuff works its way back, all those dark espresso and chocolate notes. Like I said, the oak, and I remember this was 12 years old MGP, and then it was almost another 2 years in the Armagnac casks. So the amount of flavor that is in this bourbon, it's really incredible. The proof isn't bad. You're getting 118.4. It's not overwhelming. It's allowing those flavors to come through and shine. Just, it's an absolute flavor bomb, and it seems to evolve a little bit more with each sip. Let's go for another one. More of that bitter chocolate and espresso now coming through. Cinnamon spice. There's a nice spiciness on the back end to go along again with those bright fruit notes. That rich oak, the fall leaves that just lingers on and on in the finish. The finish here, it's not overpowering. It's definitely a medium finish, but I mean, it's all flavor. All the flavors just keep coming on and on and on. I just love the bounce of it. It's almost like good and evil in one bottle. You have the light part, which is giving you all those bright, the citrusy notes, the peach, the apricot, the vanillas, those the rich caramel, some of the honey notes, and then all of a sudden, then it goes evil on you. It gets dark, and then you have the espresso, the dark chocolate, the oak, the age, the Armagnac cask, that kind of a old dusty like barrel type note to it. This just has so much going on in the bottle. Let's go for one last sip here. Yeah, okay, so what I will say, this isn't your typical, you know, I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying like this is, you know, like a BTEC profile or something along the lines that's, you know, on the sweeter side. This is a different kind of sweet. This is a little bit more on the grape, the raisin, the bright fruit side, but then that espresso and chocolate that comes in, a little bit of sweet tobacco. I mean, it's just a different type of flavor profile, but I think what you get with the differences with that light and that dark, it's something that I don't think I've had in a long time. It's very unique. It's absolutely delicious. It's kind of like the best ride at a bourbon amusement park. The nose is rich and dark and complex. The palate is bright and fruity and floral. Then it comes back and it hits you again with the dark and rich flavors again. It's kind of up and down. It's a wild ride. It's absolutely fantastic. So the retail price for this is about 130 bucks. Secondary market value I've seen already, putting this up to about 200 to 225, being its 12-year-old MGP. People like to mark MGP up drastically for some reason. Availability on this is limited. Now, according to their website, Bardstown Bourbon Company products are available in Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, California, Florida, Nevada, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, and Ohio. So if you live in any of those states, start taking a look around. If not, you may have to do some hunting or have maybe somebody help you find your bottle. Now for the value, this may surprise you, but I'm saying the value is high on this. Now if you're asking why the value is high, you have to look at the whole picture. It's 12-year-old MGP bourbon, it's cask strength, and then it's finished for another 18 months in Armagnac casks, which are both very rare and very expensive to get a hold of. So overall, $130 for this bourbon on paper is a great deal. Now experiencing the flavors and quality of this makes it even more of a deal in my eyes. Now, do I recommend this? Well, you probably guessed it, yes and yes. I'm gonna say it. The way the flavors jump out of this glass, the mix of light flavors and dark flavors, the uniqueness, the Armagnac flavors, even the price point for me, this is an early Bourbon of the Year candidate for me. I haven't had anything like this up to this point this year, and I think it's an absolute home run from Bardstown Bourbon Company, an amazing collaboration with Chateau de Laubade. If you are able to get this, you will not be sorry. All right, guys, well, hope you enjoyed this review on the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room for the brand new Bardstown Bourbon Company collaboration with Chateau de Laubade Armagnac. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little bit more about Armagnac, what that is, and of course, what is in this fantastic bottle. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that subscribe button below. Please hit that like button. If you haven't yet, find me on Instagram and find me on Twitter. Let me know if you've seen this yet, if you've had it, what you think of it. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. I'm gonna have a lot more of this. And I hope I didn't screw up all the French words too bad. Cheers, guys. Talk to you soon.